Today, we're taking a journey to the land of the rising sun. Do you know where that is? Well, of course you do. It's Japan. Japan is located in the east of Asia, consisting of multiple islands and unique and beautiful landscapes and forests. About 70% of Japan is forested, mountainous, and suitable for agriculture. Japan is a country you will love to know more about. Here are some interesting facts about Japan. So fasten your seatbelts as we journey through 10 interesting facts about Japan that will amaze you. First on today's list is that the world's oldest company is in Japan. Interestingly, Kongo Gumi is the oldest company in the world, with its headquarters in Osaka, Japan. It was established in 578 AD, when Prince Shotoku invited Shigemitsu Kongo to build a Buddhist temple. Before his time, Shigemitsu was a renowned temple builder. The royal family in Japan commissioned him to build Shitenno-ji Temple, which stands today in Osaka. Kongo saw this as an opportunity to establish a company that is into building Buddhist temples. Kongo Gumi was a family-run company for around 1,400 years until 2006, when the company went under due to massive debt burden they'd accumulated. It then became a subsidiary of Takamatsu. Before this, Kongo Gumi employed 100 individuals and had an annual budget of around $70 million. It continues to specialize in Buddhist temples till today. Before moving to the next interesting fact about Japan, ensure you click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates from Brain Drain. Also, make sure you watch this video to the end to know about the weird and funny celebration of the male sex organ that happens in Japan every year. Number 2 on today's list. Nearly half the zippers worldwide are made in Japan. Quickly, take a look at your zipper. Do you see YKK letters inscribed on your zipper? There's a pretty high probability that YKK letters would be inscribed on your zipper. Well, what is YKK? YKK is an acronym stamped on billions of zippers yearly. This acronym stands for Yoshida Kogyo Kabushi Geisha, roughly translated as Yoshida Manufacturing Shareholding Company. This is a company responsible for producing nearly half the zippers in the world. This company was founded by Tadao Yoshida in 1934. YKK is located in Tokyo. Before 1950, YKK zippers were made by hand, but in 1950, the company purchased a chain machine from the United States that allowed the automation of the zipper making process. Tadahiro Yoshida started running the company after Tadao Yoshida, his father, died in 1993. Yoshida and his family own 31%, making them have a net worth of $1.5 billion just through the zipper business. Third on today's list, did you know that the first geisha were actually men? In present Japan, geisha are a group of Japanese performing artists and entertainers trained in traditional Japanese performing art styles, such as dance, music, and singing. If you're familiar with geisha, you would know they were usually Japanese women. Fascinating fact about the Japanese geisha is that the first geisha were men, called taikomochi. They look nothing like the present-day geisha and performed a very different role. They were men appearing around the year 1730. 20 years after was when female geisha began to appear in the form of odoriko, meaning dancing, or spasimen players. Women took over the geisha profession and dominated it in 1780. Number 4 for today. About 1,500 earthquakes strike Japan every year. Japan has the most quantities of earthquakes in the world. This is due to its location. Japan is located along the Pacific Ring of Fire. It lies across 3 tectonic plates, including the Pacific Plate under the Pacific Ocean and the Philippine Sea Plate. Here, the plates slide over liquid rock and cause tension, which is eventually released and expressed as earthquakes. Japan is most famous for its earthquakes. Japan experiences about 1,500 earthquakes every year. Due to this, Japanese citizens are prepared and have already adapted to this natural hazard. In Japan, there are earthquake-safe buildings for protecting people when an earthquake happens. There's also the awareness of natural hazards like earthquakes to minimize the havoc caused by earthquakes in Japan. The worst earthquake in the history of Japan is the Great Kanto earthquake. This earthquake hit the Kanto plain around Tokyo in 1923 and resulted in the deaths of over 100,000 people. Another earthquake happened in 1995, known as the Southern Hyogo earthquake, which killed 6,000 people and injured 415 more. The strongest ever recorded earthquake in Japan happened on March 11th in 2011. It's known as the Great East Japan Earthquake. This earthquake triggered a massive tsunami along the Pacific coast of northeastern Japan. The earthquake, and particularly the tsunami, killed nearly 20,000 people. At number 5 today, Japan has the world's deepest underwater postbox. The world's deepest underwater postbox is located in Susami Bay in Japan. It lies at a depth of 10 meters underwater. In the year 2002, the Guinness Book of World Records recognized this 10 meters underwater red postbox within which over 32,000 pieces of mail have been posted to date. The postbox is for use by divers who buy water-resistant postcards from Yamatani's store and write messages on them with an oil-based paint marker. An employee of the shop collects the cards once every few days and takes them to the local post office. The items are then delivered to recipients within a week of being posted. The postbox was created in 1999 to promote the Kumano Kodo Pilgrimage Trail and surrounding area in the southern part of Wakayama's Kill Peninsula. With Susami having no special attraction, Toshiko Matsumoto, the then postmaster of the town, proposed an undersea postbox. Sixth on our list is that Japan has a word for death by overwork. Karoshi is a Japanese word for death by overwork. The word was invented due to intense Japan work culture in 1970. Karoshi occurs when workers commit suicide or suffer from heart failure or stroke as a result of long work. An instance of Karoshi is the death of a journalist named Miwa Sado in 2013 in Japan. Miwa was a 31-year-old journalist. She reportedly logged 159 hours of overtime in 1 month at the news network NHK before dying of heart failure in July 2013. Just like Miwa, a lot of Japanese workers have committed suicide and have suffered from a heart attack or stroke as a result of overwork. The Japanese federal government has taken steps to reduce Karoshi cases. A bill was passed by Japan's national legislature in 2018. The bill was a way to modernize Japan's way of working, known as Hataraki Kata e Kaku. This presents excess working hours and gives employees at least 5 days off work for staff with at least 10 days of unused leave. Number 7 today is that Japan has the last emperor in the world. The Emperor of Japan is the only remaining emperor in the world. His name is Naranomiya Naruhito. He was born on February 23, 1960 in Tokyo as Akihito's son. He's Japan's 126th emperor and the last standing emperor in the world. The emperor remains an important part of people's lives in Japan. The emperor is how the Japanese define the national identity, what it means to be Japanese. The constitution defines the emperor's role as a symbol of the state and the unity of the people. The emperor is believed to be a near-divine being, descended from the Shinto deity Amaterasu. The Japanese emperor becomes a ceremonial and unifying figure. Number 8 is that Tokyo is the most populated city in the world. Tokyo, formerly known as Edo, is the capital of Japan and the most populated city in the world. Tokyo is the political and economic center of Japan, as well as the seat of the Emperor of Japan. As of 2021, Tokyo had a population of 14.04 million. The Greater Tokyo area is the most populous metropolitan area in the world, with an estimated 37.468 million people living there in 2018. Tokyo is a city with a lot of records. Apart from being the most populous city in the world, Tokyo is the first city to host the Olympics in 1964. It has the busiest train station in the world, which has 3.5 million passengers every day. And Tokyo also homes the world's busiest intersection, the Shinjuku Station, or Shibuya Crossing. Tokyo is also the safest city in the world. Number 9 on this list is that crime is relatively non-existent. Surprisingly, as much as the population of Japan, crime in Japan is relatively non-existent. Japan is one of the safest countries in the world. The recent knife attack in Japan that killed 19 people is the largest mass killing in the country's history. Studies have shown that the strong cultural affinity for passivity and non-violence are factors involved in the low crime rate in Japan. Anger and aggression are considered shameful in Japanese society. Studies have also shown that the peaceful Japanese tradition was further strengthened after World War II, when Japan turned away from violence after suffering the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Number 10, and the final one on today's list, is that Japan has a festival dedicated to the phallus. The weirdest and funniest fact that we could find about Japan is its festival dedicated to the phallus. Every year, on the first Sunday of April in Kawasaki, is set aside for the celebration of the Steelphallus, which 100,000 people coming to celebrate the male sexual organ. The festival goers indulge in colourful penis-shaped food and memorabilia, as portable shrines of 3 giant phalluses are paraded through the city. There is a black steel phallus, a brown wooden phallus known as Elizabeth after the name of popular Tokyo cross-dressing club that donated the giant sculpture, which is traditionally carried by the people. The Kanamea Shrine, a smaller shrine that honours the gods of mining and blacksmiths within the larger Wakayama Hashimangu, is the revelers' final destination. The atmosphere of the sex-positive LGBT-inclusive celebration is fun and relaxed, but the festival is deeply embedded with the Shinto religion, and also a socially conscious opportunity to raise funds for research into sexually transmitted diseases. So in conclusion, Japan is an amazing country with a beautiful culture. The Japanese have a lot of respect for their culture, and this has helped build a great Japan. Isn't it amazing that despite the natural hazards like an earthquake that happen frequently in Japan, Japan is still one of the most populated countries in the world? Let us know what you think about Japan in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on more interesting facts and much more. Check out the playlist of our videos from the Brain Drain channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.